My guest today is Leonie Dawson. Hello, hello. And
Oh, thank you so much, as well. It's a joy to be here.
oh, so happy you could make it. Yay. So happy to have you here. We're mostly going to talk about writing today, but I'm sure there will be other things that will creep in, like family, children, business, money. Leonie is an international best-selling author, an artist, an online course creator. She has generated over $11 million in revenue so far, selling online courses, but also selling her international best-selling Goal Getter Workbooks and planners, which I have been getting and using for 5 years now myself.
Oh, yay!
And all of that working only 10 hours a week. She has been recognized for her business acumen as a finalist for Australian Businesswoman of the Year and winner of the AusMumpreneur's People's Choice Business Coach. Leonie is indeed Australian and currently lives on the Sunshine Coast with her husband and their 2 daughters. Now, little disclaimer, we may or may not swear in this episode. So, so if there are any little ears nearby, you may want to listen with your earpods. So yeah, we had to reschedule this interview because Leonie injured her back quite seriously. So first of all, Leonie, how are you? Welcome to my podcast, and how is your back?
Oh, thank you, my love. It is better, but it's like, for me, it's a regular thing. I have something called hypermobility, which means that I have very, very loose tendons, and so my bones dislocate really regularly. I dislocated my entire pelvis and prolapsed some lumbar discs just from walking last year, and so like anything can set it off. Like, my daughter said, but my teacher says that, like, if you're not gonna, like, if there's no risk of injuring yourself, that's no fun. And I said, yeah, but like, he's injuring himself when he does like snowboarding and stuff, babe. Like, me, I'm injuring myself walking around the
That's
house
okay.
or just sitting on the couch wrong, and my bones are like, whoopsie, whoopsie, I'm out of place.
Oh no. So you have to be super careful. Yes. Is it part of
I
your
do.
self-care?
It is, but I also have to recognize that, like, the injuries are just going to happen. Like,
Mm.
it just will. And so I have very good aftercare. I have an amazing osteopath, and then we'll just sort stuff out from there, basically.
Okay.
And like, just recognize, like, for me, I'm grateful that it's me that has something like this, not somebody who actually needs their body for work. You know what I mean? Like a
Mm.
builder or somebody who has to physically use. Like, I'm grateful it's me, because I can be like a boneless anemone and just sit on the couch most of the time to do some work.
Like write your books. Let's talk about your book.
Exactly. Yay!
Yay! So I want to talk about your workbooks first, and then we'll talk about your novella as well. So I see from your newsletter, which I read religiously every few days, that you have finalized the 2022 workbook. Whoop, whoop. Woo.
I have indeed. I have indeed. So, world exclusive. I'll tell you first. So I've been doing the annual one since 2010, and now what I'm doing is converting it to being an undated one, so that you can use it. Like, if you buy the digital copy, you can just use it for the rest of your life.
Great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that you can just pop in what year it is, and you're good to go. And that way, then people don't have to wait around until I release the next year's one as well. They can just
Mm.
carry on.
So when are they actually coming out?
Oh, good question. It was supposed to be last week, but we've run into a snafu, of course, because self-publishing, there's always a snafu.
Mhm.
So maybe next week, if the publishing gods are kind upon us.
Oh my God, next week, end of October. Brilliant. Woohoo. So tell us more about it, because I know all about them because I've been using them for 5 years, but what's in them? What was the original idea, and how did it turn into such a success?
Well, for me, it was something that I just wanted to create for me. It was, I remember when I was pregnant with my first daughter about 2009, and I knew I wanted to set goals for the year ahead, because I knew it was going to be a really tricky year becoming a mum for the first time. And um, I felt like I needed something to hold on to in, the months ahead when things would get difficult. And I wanted to be able to set goals, um, not just for like career and money, but for all areas of my life, including my self-care and my family and friendships and my health, like every part. I wanted to be able to set goals for it. And when I looked around at that point, there was nothing available. And anything that was available was really just focused on career and money. And it was all very like black and white, corporate, masculine kind of stuff. And I thought, no, ew. So I thought I would paint myself a cute goals workbook. And then it took me about 3 days to make it. And it was about 40 pages at that point, and I was like, "This is cute. You know what? I'll just put it online as an ebook, and if other people wanna set their goals with me, that'll be amazing, and if it's, like, 10 people, that'll be amazing." Um, and it kind of just and I released it, I think, Boxing Day, so, like, December 26th,
Mm.
and it just went crazy over the next couple of weeks, and ended up selling over 1,000 copies, and I thought, "What the F? What the fruitcake is this?" And it was such a joy for me to do the work, like, for me to fill them out myself, and I just loved them, and the next year, people are like, "I need the workbooks." Um and so I kept on releasing them, and they just kept on growing bigger and bigger, and then we ended up releasing printed versions of them as well eventually. Um, and now they've been used by over 450,000 people worldwide, which is just ridiculous. Like, it's
Amazing.
amazing. But kind of like as you discover it in your experience, and I discovered in my experience, when you use them once, you're like, I need to use this every year
Gotta
now.
carry on.
Yeah, it's a tradition. It makes such a big difference. Like, I can't imagine not setting goals for the year ahead now using a workbook.
Mm. So can you take us through your publishing journey specifically with these workbooks? I know there was some self-publishing, the traditional publisher, then Bella, and then back to self-publishing. So I love this whole journey and you trying different things. And so tell us.
Yeah. I've explored kind of every area of the publishing path now, I think. I don't know if there's anything I've missed, but I'm sure I'll try it out
I think
eventually.
so.
Um, I started off just by selling it as a digital ebook on my website. Then I released a printed copy through Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing service. Then at a certain point, I decided to fully self-publish through a print house in China, and it became a very large over the years. I think we did that for 3 years or so. It ended up becoming a very large experience and operation because, it was about $500,000 each year to print the books.
Gosh. Mm.
And as my husband would go like, "That's a mortgage. That's a mortgage." Um, I hope these books sell. And I was like, they will. And then we would send them to 3 different countries and go through customs and, like, have to pay all the customs duties, and so they'd be on 3 different ships, and the ships would be going all at different speed, and so, like, to keep
Oh
it,
gosh.
like, all in the head was amazing, and then, of course, there'd be all the port holdups and stuff, nothing like the port holdups that are happening now.
Mm.
And then they'd go into distribution houses that we paid for. And of course, we had, massive issues with one distribution house who refused to send any of the books out and then held the books hostage. And we were nearly at the point of having to call the police in America. And it was just
Oh
a
gosh.
shit show. Um, so after those kinds of experiences, I was like, I need to simplify. Plus, to do that operation, it meant having a very large team. And I had like 20, 25 staff at one point, and discovered I absolutely hate managing people, because all I really want to do is just like hide in a room and create stuff. And that's all. And so for me, it just wasn't the right fit. So I went back, I simplified my business way back, and I went back to self publishing through Kindle Direct Publishing Service. Then I got a quite a good publishing deal through Ben Bella, which is an American publishing house. And we did that for a year or two. For me, I just didn't find it was super useful or profitable to do that. Even though I had an amazing publishing deal, I make more money just doing it this way. So I then tried out using a Shopify cart with Lulu Express, and so it was coming through my cart, and then Lulu would print it for me and send it out. So it's a kind of more complicated version of print on demand. But again, discovered that the customer service email part of that was just enormous. So it was kind of looking at 20 plus hours a week on customer service. And Lulu's printing through that mechanism was pretty shocking. Like their error rate was at least 10%. They would print the books wrong or send this wrong books to the wrong person, and then Lulu were good at fixing it, and they would pay for the fixes themselves. But it was, one, they'd already disappointed our customers, and secondly, it took all of our customer support time to arrange for all of those fixes. So we've we're going back to just using Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing service again to do the print version again. And I mean, of course, Amazon's not perfect, and in some ways it's a problematic company, but having been through all of that publishing journey, it's the better of the options currently for me and what I'm trying to do.
I remember you said at some point that doing it through Lulu was great because you were getting people's email addresses and they could be added to your email list. But then it's not enough of an advantage if there's so much customer service to be.
Yeah, completely. And just the enormous amount of cost of that. And then the burnout on customer service staff, and also just like the hit rate of errors was that's just stupid. 10% of errors, like for sending the wrong shit to people.
A lot.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. What a journey. Oh yes. So I was remembering what you did last year, because I love watching what you do and how you do things, especially when it comes to your books. You gave people a deadline to purchase them this year. So 2020, start of 2021. These 2 years, they just get all muddled up.
They do. They're just one blur.
At the start of 2021, you gave people a deadline, like 15th of January, that's it, they will be gone. How did that work for you? Did you think, oh yeah, that was a really good thing? Or did you think, no, I'm just gonna, well, as it happens, you're going to undate your workbooks anyway? So was there a decision because of that?
We made the decision because of the amount of time customer service emails were going, and also because Lulu just had such an enormous error rate. And so we knew that if we turned off by January 15, we would still have customer service emails going on for at least 6 weeks, because, you would have to wait for books to be printed, then they would be shipped to get to every country was at least 6 weeks. And even then, like, we were hopeful that it would end within 6 weeks, and it went on right through to May, I think. And so I had to hire another customer service person because it just so brutally burnt out my my VA. And also because we, I only have one assistant, one part-time assistant, usually. And so customer service emails, her doing 20 hours worth at least, meant that she had no time for anything else. So there was no other parts of the business that she could be working on or helping me with. And so that kind of sucks. I need some support.
You need some, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to hire more people because it means that I have to manage them, and then that takes time. So I just have to be very discerning. And so we ended up rehiring a past staff member to take over the customer service stuff, to alleviate the pain on my beloved VA, who ended up having to go on holidays as well because she was just so burnt out from 3 months of customer service. like, just all day customer service stuff. So yeah, it was a business saving technique. And also, like, I do need to be clear as well, like, as successful as the books are, they are a very small part of my profit puzzle. I make much more money doing my programs, and so the more time I have spent on the workbooks, the less time I have to run the profitable, like the very profitable stuff. I still make cash. I make a good amount of cash, but I run them $1 million plus. I earn over $1 million a year, and the workbooks are less than 10% of that now. So I need to be conscious of where I spend my time and my staff's time.
Sure, but please carry on making them, right?
Yeah, this is it, right? Like that's why Undated, because it's a little bit less stressful, and people can still get it, and they can still have their miracles with it, but it's going to take less time on our end, like on both the creative, the management, the setting it all up, getting trim sizes correct. Because I'm always surprised. I've been doing this for 13 years, getting the trim sizes, getting it all fancied up every single year. It always takes like
Forever.
6 times at a time that I think it will.
This year will be fine. This year will be quick. No,
that's right.
There are always mistakes in publishing. I know.
Yes.
Okay, so can we talk about your novella now? Salt.
Sure.
Oh, I reread it before the interview, just like to remember, and actually really enjoyed it even more the second time.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Really, really love it. I hope you're going to write some more fiction.
But well, yeah, just whenever the inspiration bolt hits me, then yeah, for sure.
So I know that it was a desire of yours to write a novella or a novel, maybe even. What was it?
I wanted to write some trash. Like, I wanted to write a sex book. That's what I wanted. I don't care about the length. I just wanted to make sure I read a sex book this life.
Cool. Super cool. And you've done it.
I did it. It was amazingly fun. I'm so grateful that I did it. And it ended up hitting #1 in Australian romance, which I thought was hilarious. Wow. I will say, like, here's an embarrassing story for you, because I love getting myself into these situations. I just did a careers talk for my old high school, and the principal was there, all of the year 11 and 12 students were there, program coordinated, great. And then at a certain point, I was like, oh, and I was, during lockdown, I ended up writing a book, and it's a romance book, and it's kind of based on the town where that school was. And the principal was like, wow, that's amazing. You know what, we should assign it as like reading in our literature class. That would be amazing for our students. And I said, so it's more like a 18 plus romance book. And he was like, oh, okay. And one of the very sweet students was like, I don't get it. Why would there be romance books that are only for 18 plus? Like, we're like nearly adults. And the principal's like, May, I'll explain that to you later. And inside, I am just screaming, like, what? Why did I think to mention an erotic novel? No. My old teenage, but whatever. They probably all read it now, so I hope you enjoyed it, guys.
That's brilliant. Well, yes. Yes, there is some hot sex in there, absolutely. And how did you obviously your work, not workbooks, do you call them workbooks?
Yeah, I call them workbooks.
Yeah, workbooks. Your workbooks are non-fiction, and they're very arty. There's a lot of your artistic expression in there, a lot of your drawings. So none of that in a novel or in a novella. But there are still a lot of words in your workbooks. So how did you find the difference between fiction and non-fiction? Did you plan it differently from your workbooks?
Yeah, for sure. Hang on, let me think about it. No, at its base, I tend to do the same thing in that I just write dot points of things I might like to cover. However, with the novels, it's more like, let's see what happens next, like where I'm going to do that. And with both books, I definitely like leapt around all over the place. I didn't like start with chapter one and then
Mm.
like write my way through to the end. I would just write the bits that I wanted to, like when I was writing the novella, I was like, oh, I want to write this part next, and then that part, and then how does it all flow together? But that's the same process, really, as a nonfiction book.
Mm. But there was more surprises for yourself.
Yeah, I think so, especially since I'm so used to writing nonfiction now. And I was like, whoa, where are we going to go with this? Okay. Amazing. And I mean, it was also like terrifying to write a sex scene because I've never done that before. Um, and I talked to my best mate about it, and she's like, you know what? I just want you to write the worst sex scene ever. Just like the most abysmal, sad, badly written sex scene ever. And I was like, yes, I can do that. And when I'd given myself permission just to write just something awful, um, it ended up just being so easy.
Being really
It,
good.
it was ended up being great. I was like, I wouldn't change that actually.
That's a good tip. Good tip.
Yeah,
Right,
just write
as if
really
it's gonna be the
bad
worst
sex scene.
one.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to write it?
Oh, I think it was about a week all up. So maybe, well, how many hours did I worked? Maybe 15 hours or something.
Mhm.
I'm a pretty fast writer anyway, because I don't have much second guessing going on except for the sex scenes part. um, and yeah, I think it was within about a week or so. And I was in lockdown, had my kids homeschooling and stuff, so I didn't really have much time. So it was just in the edges of stuff. And
Mhm.
even though it's a novella, like I do want people to know that it actually doesn't have to take an enormous amount of time to write a book. So I teach people how to write books in 40 days, and they're full length books, and you can still work full time and parent your kids and all that kind of stuff. Um, like there's this quote that says it takes an awful lot of time not to write a book, and it's absolutely true. It takes you much less time to write the book than
Yeah.
to think about writing the book. If you just go for it and do the
Yeah.
thing, you don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yes. So did you manage to, I was going to ask you, did you like clear your diary? You didn't work at all that week. You helped with the homeschooling and then you wrote, or did you manage to still work and write and be a mother and be a
Oh, yeah, right. I think I just cleared my work schedule. I mean, with my business anyway, it's I don't really work that much anyway. It's about 10 hours a week. Can mostly get managed by my VA. And so I'm only coming in to do the creative stuff, really. Like I create programs, I run live rounds, I make free shit to give away. Um, I write blogs, I make podcasts. That's all I kind of really do at this point, which is great. That's my sweet spot. That's exactly how I wanted this. And so I just counted the novella as my
yeah.
creative work for that week.
Yeah, great. Ooh, so cool. And who edited, proofread, and formatted your book?
Oh, that was me.
You, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I do have editing skills. I used to work as an editor for the Australian business website, and so it comes quite easily to me. Plus, I do tend to find that I edit as I write anyway.
Mm,
So,
mm.
um, yeah, and I like to work out all the formatting stuff. I mean, Kindle's uh, like that. They've got one of like the app that you download and you just shove it in there from Word document. It's pretty, it's pretty easy. It's
It
pretty
is
sweet.
easy, yeah. Mm. Amazing. Wow. And motherhood and writing, tell us more. How do you fit that in now? And like if you had an idea for another book, would you do exactly the same? You would just write it. Write the fucking book, as you know,
Yeah,
as you say in your course.
that's right. Yeah, and also like carry on with parenting. Like for me, I've discovered that I do best when I have time away from my kids. Even if it's just for an hour or two, if I can go and lock myself in my office or in my bedroom for an hour or two a day, It totally fuels me up, and it means that I'm such a better mum. But if I try and do stuff while I'm with them, or don't give myself the gift of time at all, I turn into a crazy bitch pretty quickly. Let's be real.
And they don't want.
Yeah, like that's not good for anyone. So I'm grateful that my husband's at home as well, and so he's like, we're just tag teaming with parenting all the time, or just together with it. And you know, the parts when I don't create space for my creativity is when I really suffer as a parent and suffer mentally. Um, so 11 years on, we just know it's critical. It's a critical part of my self-care. And I also love working. I mean, my job is creative anyway. And so work for me is a great therapy. You know, like when shit's hitting the fan, I'm like, well, I'm
I'm
going
good
to
to
the
work.
office.
Yeah, I have that as well sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely. It's a lovely way of just controlling a
Yeah.
small part of the universe.
You have mentioned that you have ADHD, and is that has that been helpful, do you think, for hyper focus and write and just like do that, just do it?
Yeah, well, I've got the blessing of, you know, ADHD and autism comorbidity. I don't know if I like the word morbidity because it seems like it's a, you know, it's an illness. It's not. It's an awesome brain. Like, highly recommend. High five. Um, and but I mean, interestingly, the latest research is pointing in the direction that autism and ADHD may actually just be the same thing. It may be the same brain.
I wouldn't
It's
be
just
surprised.
yeah, it presents differently to the world because 75% of people who have one have the other. So, like, I
Yeah.
think it might be the one brain. Thanks, Jan. Um, so I'm grateful for this little rainbow brain of mine. It does make things a little bit more challenging with dealing with the outside world, because I get so overstimulated so quickly. So I have to be very protective of my own energy and not compare myself to neurotypical people and what they can do out in the world, because they can be out in the world having a great time. And um, if I go out into the world for that period of time, then I am in shutdown afterwards. You know, I can't speak. My whole body is in sensory shock. It's intense. In terms of being a creative, though, it's bonza because I can make amazing things and I can hyper focus and I get very excited and passionate about new things, and then I want to share and talk about them. So this kind of business is bloody perfect for somebody who's got autism and
Really.
ADHD.
You created your perfect life. Wow.
I did. I'm so grateful. And now I just want to work out how to turn the volume down on the outside world a little bit, so it's just a little bit less much when I'm out there in it.
Wow. I think I want to mention you have mentioned it, but your 40 days to your finished book online course, which I did do. And I did write a book of poems, actually. That's all I managed, but that, you know, it's still a book.
That's not like all I managed. You wrote a book of poems. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is
It's still
brilliant.
not
You
a
wrote
proper
a
book.
book. No, it is a proper book. It's a book. There's like the book doesn't like the course is not for only people who are writing serious nonfiction or serious fiction. It's for everybody, whatever kind of book, whether it's a cookbook or a poetry book and a children's book, a finished book is the outcome. So you succeeded.
I did, yes. And yet I feel like, oh, I can't do well, that's my story, right? I can't do a proper book in 40 days. I don't work like that. I need 6 months, 9 months. But I often think about, just write your fucking book. I do often think about it. And I do feel I need to clear my schedule and clear everything so that I can do that. But you are an example of somebody who hasn't necessarily needed to do that. So it's an inspiration. Thank you.
Well, it's a blessing, like, for you to actually discover, like, no, this is what I need in order to make this happen. And there's no right or wrong way about it, you know. As long as you're writing and you're making the book, that's the gold.
The goal. That's what I tell my clients. That's the goal. Just write your book, however you can do it. Just write it every day, every week, whatever. But yeah, at least move forward. So yes. So
Progress is the main thing.
yes, progress is the main thing. Absolutely. And then we get to a finished book. Yes. So how can people find you in the ether? Because I know that you stopped using social media in January.
I
And
did.
we're like, what? How do we do that? How do we stop social media? And how can we find you if you're not on social media?
Well, there's one place I am, and that's where I've always been, and that's my website. You can find me at leoniedawson.com. I have newsletters that I send out every single week with more free shit. I write blog posts, really long blog posts every single week, sharing about life experiences, creativity, the latest business experiments that I'm doing, what's worked, what hasn't. Every month I release a review of how much money I've earned that month, exactly where it's come from, the big things I've done that month. So they're chock full of the good things. So the newsletter is really the best way to do it. They're completely free. And then I also have a free shit on my webpage as well, where you can just find all the free shit that I've created and
So
offered to
much free
people.
shit, people.
So much free shit.
Oh, so good. I've got it all. Oh, thank you. That would be great. I know what you're going to say, but what is your best writing tip as a parting present for my
Oh, the thing that I want you to know is that thinking about writing is miserable. Getting the writing done is elation. It is divine, and you become the bigger, bolder, brighter version of yourself with each new thing that you create. And I won't say that it's like ecstatic, like when you're writing all the time, like it is hard work. And I think about what my midwife said when I was complaining that I wasn't getting the orgasmic birth that I wanted. And she's like, Leonie, birth is work. You are two, like you are one body splitting into two. It's going to be work, but it's good work. And that's the way I feel about writing, is that it's going to be work, but it's good work. You're splitting one body into two. You're conjuring a book out of you. It's the good work to be doing.
That's why I call myself a book doula.
I love that. Exactly that, right?
Yeah.
It's just, you can do this. You can do this, even when you feel like you can't. You are full of miracles.
Especially when you feel you can't. It's just around the corner.
Exactly. That whole transition part, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Leonie. It's been a delight to have you here and speak to you. It's been a bit surreal because I've been following you for so long and watched all the podcasts as well. And oh my gosh, it's on mine. So
You are a doll. It's a joy to connect with you. I love that. Like, it's a joy to connect with you, and you have joyous journeys.
Yes, it's a joy. Thank you.
Thank you, my love.
Okay, bye.
Bye.